Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the course Environmental Chemistry. This is course code Chem 362 and lecture number 5. The topic is soil erosion. This is first part of the topic soil erosion. I am your instructor Dr. Naila Khalid. I will discuss the first part of this soil erosion. In this part, I will discuss the basic concept of soil erosion, its causes and effects. The rest of the topic I will cover in the next session. At the end, I will give you the summary of the major points and then references to the presented material. Learning outcome. At the end of this session, you will be able to understand the basic concept of soil erosion, its effects and causes, what are the effects of soil erosion and what are its causes, reasons for the soil erosion. First of all, you should know about the basic concept of soil. Soil, which is the outer covering of the earth's surface. It has many nutrients. It takes millions of years to form. The covering, soil covering, the upper covered surface of the earth. It takes millions of years to form. It is non-renewable because it takes a very long time to form. So if it is destroyed, it will take millions of years to form. So it is a non-renewable resource. And once it is destroyed, it is gone forever. If we disregard this, a time will come when there would not be enough soil left to sustain life on Earth because soil is the growth medium for plants, it is the home for insects and animals, and it is a medium for various minerals. We get some minerals, for example, gold. It is important, therefore, to treat soil, especially the topsoil, as a living entity. Now, the concept of soil erosion, in very short words, in very simple words, I can say that the soil erosion is the removal of the topsoil. It is the transportation of the topsoil from one area to another area. So, the soil erosion is a phenomena of removal of topsoil from one part of the land to another part. So it is the proper definition of the soil erosion. On your screen, you can see over here, you can read that erosion, or soil erosion, it is the action of surface processes that removes soil, rock, or dissolved material from one location of the earth and transport it to another location. Uh, what will happen? There is possibility if the soil particles are loose, they can be washed by wind, they can be washed by air, they can be washed by land, water, and this may be due to the slope of the land and any reason, any cause. Maybe that soil, if it is removed from one part of the land to another part, once this nutrient rich layer is gone, the plants either cannot grow or very few plants can grow in this medium. As in previous session, we have learned about that soil is the medium which has a large number of nutrients, and these nutrients are essential for plant growth. And these nutrients are uh, there in the soil to grow plants easily. So if this topsoil is removed by soil erosion, so you will not be able to grow plants. So without soil and plants, the land becomes desert-like and unable to support life. So soil erosion is a big danger for sustenance of life on earth. Here is the pictorial representation of the soil erosion. Here you can see that how the soil is eroded and it is unable to grow the plants. So these plants cannot be grown in this soil because it is deficient in the nutrients. All the topsoil has been washed away, has been removed. This is what the soil erosion is. Now, what should be the reason? What is the reason behind the soil erosion, behind the removal of the topsoil? There are various reasons which could be possible, which could be possibly going to remove the topsoil. One of the major reasons is deforestation. One of the major reasons is deforestation. There are 6 to 7 reasons of soil erosion. This is due to the human activities and some natural processes are also involved. For example, farming practices, if they are not compatible with the fact that the soil can be washed away or blown away, these practices are number one, deforestation. Number two, overstocking and overgrazing. Number three, inappropriate, not suitable farming techniques such as land deploying land 2 or 3 times a year to produce annual crops. Lack of crop rotation, planting planting crops, planting crops down the counter instead of along it, and over irrigation. And then wind is also another cause behind the soil erosion. We will discuss each and every cause in detail in one by one slide. Number one, deforestation. Here is the pictorial representation of an area where deforestation has been occurred. Deforestation means removal of destruction of forest which is the hub of the plants, hub of the trees. If these trees are removed, which are anchor for the soil particles, whose trees are act as an anchor for the soil particles. If you remove these trees, then the soil particles are loose. It can be washed by either wind or by the raining water or by water or any agency. These can be removed. So cutting down of trees, this is what the deforestation is. Without planting new ones is called deforestation. So as you know that trees and plants act as an anchor and holds a soil particle in place. So when there are insufficient trees and plants on surface, then soil becomes loose and rapidly moves away with wind, water, and glacial till. The second main cause of the soil erosion is the running water. Water can be extremely effective erosional agent, especially when it pours down as a rainfall. Heavy rainfall can cause the soil erosion. For example, water runoff from flowing path. You have also observed some flowing path where water runoff occurs during the raining period, raining season. Then you will see that there are certain paths, and on the bank of that, the soil particles are loose and washed away with the water. So rainfall begins its erosional processes since the very first time raindrops hit the surface of the ground. The impact of raindrop hitting the ground dislodge small particles of soil and rock, carrying them away on flowing streams of water. Here is the picture representation of the running water, how this running water can take away the soil particle from the sides of this pathway along with it, and soil erosion take place. Overgrazing is the third main reason for the soil erosion. These animals, if they are used for grazing our fields, the plants, very small plants, these are eaten by these animals. And when they are eaten by these animals, this is grazing. What grazing is? If the overgrazing takes place, all of the plain area, this will be deprived from the plants. So that is why the soil particles becomes loose and these are washed away. Overgrazing. So it is one of the main reason for the soil erosion. It reduces the usefulness, productivity of the land. The livestock press the subsoil into fine soil, which can be easily removed by wind and water. Another reason for the soil erosion is faulty methods of agriculture. These are the malpractices, faulty methods of agriculture. The most outstanding are wrong plowing. Deep plowing can cause the loose soil particles, can lose the soil particles and they can be washed away. This is what wrong plowing, deep plowing methods. Lack of crop rotation and practice of shifting cultivation. So it can also cause the soil erosion. If you rotate the crops, then there is possibility that there a deficiency of nutrients do not take place. So if the fields are plowed very deep or at the slope, there is no obstruction to flow, then it means that soil particles which are already loose can be washed away with the can be washed away with the water or wind. So that is why the removal of the topsoil is easy at the slope. And if the slope is used for agriculture, for plowing lands, then there is uh, more chances of soil erosion. Here is a slope, which here is the example of wrong plowing, which are if the crop rotation is not uh, practiced, then you will see that the soil may get eroded and it has deficiency of some nutrients too, and it look like this one. A very important reason for the soil erosion is the wind. Wind or air, the flowing air, the gas, the air which removes this soil. How this is the pictorial representation? Picture representation, and here you can see that this soil is washed away. These loose soil particles are carried by the wind from one part of the land to another one. So that is why wind is also responsible for the soil erosion. So wind erosion can be caused by light wind that rolls soil particles along the surface through a strong wind that lifts a large volume of soil particles into the air to create to create dust storms. Dear students, soil erosion is the removal of the topsoil. And what should be its effect on the soil? The very important effect is the loss of the fertility. As the nutrients in the soil are present in the topsoil, and if it is removed, then there is a deficiency of soil nutrients. So, soil erosion has adverse effects. There are various effects of soil erosion. These some of the effects are listed in on this screen. These are loss of arable land, water pollution and clogging of waterways. Number three, sedimentation and threat to the aquatic system. Number four, air pollution. Number five, destruction of infrastructure. And number six is desertification. Let we let us discuss each one by one. First of all, arable land. Loss of arable land. There is loss of arable land. Lands which are used for crop production have substantially affected by soil erosion as the topsoil has nutrients, and if it is removed, then it is not it will not uh, be used as a medium for plant growth. So this arable land is lost by the soil erosion because there is fertility of the soil is dependent on the topsoil. And if this topsoil is removed, then the soil becomes infertile. Second very important effect is the water pollution and clogging of waterways. If the soil particles, these are removed, which is the soil erosion, if these are removed by the water, this will pollute the water bodies and our waterways, our pathways, these are clogged. These are clogged due to the presence of large number of soil particles. So, soil eroded from agricultural lands carry pesticides, heavy metals, and fertilizers, which are washed into streams and major waterways. This leads to water pollution and damage our marine and freshwater habitats. Sedimentation is another problem, is another effect of the soil erosion. As we have discussed that the soil erosion is the removal of the topsoil, and if this removal is this is removed by the water, then there is possibility that the sedimentation of these soil particles take place inside our aquatic system. So this is threat to the aquatic system because it will, for example, in a lake, sedimentation take place. At the time comes that it will take eutrophication. It will give rise to a phenomena of eutrophication. The lake is unable to sustain life because sustain aquatic life because the transparency of the water surface, the water is also being damaged due to the presence of the soil particles, which are now stored in at the bottom of the soil lake in the form of sediments. Sedimentation take place. High soil sedimentation can be catastrophic, can be destructive to the survival of the aquatic life. Silt can smother the breeding grounds of fish and equally lessens their food supply. Since this siltation reduces the biodiversity of algal life and beneficial aquatic plants, sediments may also enter the fish gills, affecting their respiratory functions. So it is a major threat to the aquatic system too. Another, another effect of soil erosion is air pollution. As if if the soil particles are washed away with the air, it will cause air pollution. Wind erosion. This picks up dust particles of the soil and throws them into the air, causing air pollution. Destruction of infrastructure. Soil erosion can affect our infrastructural projects like dams. If there is sedimentation in the dams, our drainage system is destroyed, embankments are destroyed, so our infrastructure is destroyed by the soil erosion because the soil particles can be accumulated, can be stored in our drains, dams, and it will clog our waterways, like it will clog our drainage system and embankments. The accumulation of this soil is destructive one. It will damage our infrastructure. The last effect of the soil erosion is its desertification. It is very worst effect of the soil erosion. At the end of the soil erosion, you will see that your arable land has been lost and you are not able to grow plants in it. So that this land become, this infertile land become desert, will be turned into desert with the passage of time. So this is what desertification is. It gradually transforms a habitable land into desert. Transformations are worsened by the destructive use of the land and deforestation that leaves the soil naked and open to erosion. This usually leads to loss of biodiversity, alteration of ecosystem, land degradation, and huge economic loss. Summary of the major points we have discussed about the basic concept of soil erosion and its effects on the soil and various reasons which are responsible for the soil erosion. In this part of the soil erosion, we have discussed that the soil erosion can be of what will be the what are the reasons behind the soil erosion and what are its effects. These are the references to the presented material. And for further book reading, you can use these references.